que aprendiste a valorarme en todo este tiempo que de mí estuviste lejos. Que me extrañas, que otra vez te equivocaste, que aprendiste a valorarme en todo este tiempo que de mí estuviste lejos. No lo creo. El amor que siento yo por ti es sincero y verdadero. Desde el que me extrañas, que otra vez te equivocaste, que aprendiste a valorarme en todo este tiempo.
Alright guys, saludos. Welcome to Series Tejano on this beautiful Wednesday. I have an amazing show set up for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and reel in my other co-host, Ms. Mary from Let's Talk Tejano. Mary, thank you for doing this with me. I always wanted to do something together, so we finally get to do something, right?
Yes, buenas noches. ¿Cómo estamos? Hello, Kelly D. Thank you for allowing me to join you today on this spectacular interview.
Yes. So, you guys, I'm not going to wait any longer. I mean, this guy doesn't even need an introduction. If just hearing the name itself speaks volume, speaks everything there is about Tejano in the industry right now. So I'm not gonna let Mr. Gary Hobbs wait any longer. So again, Mr. Gary, saludos all the way from Eagle Pass. Thank you again.
How are you, Kelly? Mary, how are y'all? Good.
Yes.
Hi, buenas noches.
Pleasure to be with y'all.
Yes, I know you're a busy man. I know this weekend you have some shows lined up, a lot of events doing, a lot of interviews. So, again, Mr. Gary, thank you for taking the time. You could have been doing something else, but you're here with us today. So, again, from Sirius Tejano, from our bosses and everybody in the station, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure to be with y'all. ¿Cómo están?
Yes.
All the way from Dallas, Texas. I'm in Dallas, and I represent Let's Talk Tejano.
Yes.
Big D.
Big D.
Yes, Big D. And then you already know me. I'm from Cristal. You're very familiar from this town. I know they bring you a lot in their area, so you're really familiar here. Again, shout out to everybody that's logging on. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, you guys could be doing something else, but you're here with us. So I'm not gonna hold back on questions for Mr. Gary, and I know Ms. Mary is not gonna hold back as well. So, Mr. Gary, I know you have a lot of things lined up. You're doing a lot of amazing things in the industry right now. You being with Freddie has really launched a big impact for you. I mean, you've done things on your own from the beginning, but being with Freddie has definitely done a lot more than what you have done in the past. So how's that transition?
Well, I won't say in the past. I will say since like 2005.
Yeah.
When I mean, I've been with I don't know, major record labels. I started off at
Yes.
Hacienda Records, and I did RCA International. I did CBS. Then I went to EMI and Capitol Records. I went to Sony Discos. Then my son and I had our own record label, Amex Records, for about 20 years, and that's where it really got sticky because I thought I had a lot of friends. I knew a lot of program directors, owners, and yet for us to get records back on the radio, new music was to say pretty shoddy by a lot of radio stations. But
Yes.
Freddie Records, of course, has been like a major label in this industry for decades, and they've always done it at a high level. And the way this thing came is that I told this story several times, but I was at a basketball game for the Spurs basketball game, and my grandson and I told my grandson I have to go to the bathroom, Migo. And so I'm heading to the bathroom, and then I was going to get something at the concession, but and I at the Spurs game, and I saw Don Freddy Martinez Sr. walking, and I go, oh my God, that looks like Don Freddy Martinez. Why is he walking alone? Like, where's the entourage and
Right.
security? And I went up to him, and I try not to startle him. And I go, Don Freddy, Gary Hobbs. He, ¿cómo estás, Gary? And he's always been so gracious and humble when I talk to him. And he always leaves me with that line, ahí estamos, Gary, cuando se te ofrezca algo, háblanos. So that led to a conversation with Hector Gutierrez, who's been a dear friend, but played keyboards with us many years ago in the 80s. And he's produced, directed a lot of our stuff, sometimes just arranged, but we've been working all this time, 42 years to be exact. And so Hector was doing work there at Freddie Studios, and he was doing something for Don Freddy. And the next thing you know, Hector just blurted it out with Don Freddy. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to have Gary Hobbs on the record label? And Hector says that Don Freddy didn't hesitate, didn't budge. He just said, "Yes, it would." And so, man, that just put something in. And so, what I noticed from Freddie, the last 15, 20 years, while we're being an independent label, all of their artists get a fair shot on radio, right?
Mhm.
And I thought, maybe it's time to go talk to Don Freddy. He's always giving me left that door open to have a conversation with him. And it did. I went to Corpus, and we sat down 4 or 5 hours, and here we are 2 albums later with Freddie Records. And I couldn't be more pleased right now with not just the resources. And when I say resources, is man, their engineers, their equipment, their experience, and so here we are on radio again. And then last year we got 2 years ago, got nominated for a Latin Grammy. It kind of felt biblical. 40 years out of the desert to be able to be nominated, and so a lot of great things at Freddie. We just released a new album.
Yes, yes. If you guys haven't heard it, Soy Libre is one of the latest songs that's been out there. So if you guys have not listened to it, go listen to it. Mr. Gary has a lot of songs, great music under his belt and
Thank
stuff
you.
like that. So Soy Libre is just another hit maker in his album. Again, you guys go take a listen. It's on all the platforms. So Mr. Gary, on that song, and I know a lot of the songs. I know you even did a song with Mr. Freddie as well. Um, how was that? Just doing something like that.
Well, Don Freddie had written a song that he wanted me to sing, and I saw the song, and I kind of knew where he was coming, but then I gotta go in there and make it Gary Hobbish, it's just and of course I had the green light to do that, but but the second song came up, and when I heard it, it was all it had Don Freddy Martinez all over it, right?
Yes.
There's just no way that I'm gonna try and make this Gary Hobbs when it's just a staple de lo que grababa Don Freddy. And
Mhm.
so I was in the studio, and Freddie Martinez Jr. Was there, and I asked Freddie, okay, so I called Don Freddie, and I call Freddie Junior Freddie. So I told Freddie, um, man, I love to do this, and I like to do it like in your dad's style. And I mean, I can see doing it. It's a challenge, but you think Don Freddie would record with me, do a collaboration? And and he said, I don't know why he wouldn't, but I'll ask him. And sure enough, that same by the time he got a hold of him and stuff, Don Freddie accepted, and it was there's been other Tejano artists there all these years, and I know Don Freddie does stuff with the legends, but to be there, como quien dice, brand new, just sign of the bottom of the totem pole, and kind of asked Don Freddie, and he accepted it. It was like it wasn't anything like a feather in my cap. It was more like, man, it was an honor to have Don Freddie Martinez record, and then a song that he wrote, and so that led. That led to another conversation. I don't want to say se me escapó Don Freddie on this one, the new album, but on the next one, I'm trying to make him record something Tejano with keyboards with me. So
Oh,
you know,
Something a little different.
we did a little bit of him, and I'm hoping he'll do a little bit of us. So, pero big
yeah.
shout out Don Freddie Martinez Sr. and of course all the staff at Freddie Records.
Yes, awesome. Yes, salutes to everybody out there. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Mark as well. He sends a lot of the music and
Mark,
stuff like that. So salutes to all of them at Freddie Records. All the artists that they have, amazing, amazing artists out there. Los Palominos. I mean, Signal. I mean, you name it, they're on that label. So again, salutes to everybody out there. So, Mr. Gary, on all the music you've done, is there a specific album you can say? Well, I'm pretty sure you say this to all the albums, but more of this is my baby.
um, to be honest, 42 years, 30 albums, and those are fresh albums. Those aren't like compilations,
Mhm.
and Emmy and Capitol and Sony would put a compilation of 3 4 artists, but 30 albums, and with the exception of one song, was handpicked for me,
Mhm.
and it was vice president at Sony. He had just come into the office, I mean, into the position, and so and he brought Simplemente Amigos, a song by Ana Gabriel, and he wanted me to do it in a cumbia. And by the time he showed it to me, Gabriel Zavala, a very well-known producer, artist, and of course husband de Steffi Montiel, but
Very talented.
Gabriel had already recorded the whole song. You're talking 1998 or something like that. Simplemente Amigos. And when I heard it, it was a no-brainer. It was really really well recorded. And but what I'm trying to say is that 30 albums times 10 or 12, and just one song, because everything else, for better for worse, I've handpicked. They've never really shoved down music down my throat like that. So I can never say which is the baby. I could say a couple of them made a lot of money, and some didn't make a lot of money, but all of them are. You never know. It's like when we recorded Las Miradas, we kind of knew it had a little bit of potential. The record label didn't even go with that; they went with something else on the first single,
Mhm.
and Las Miradas was never a. We did our own video. We went to Monterrey and we did it, and that wasn't the label. That was us, and so Las Miradas took on a life of itself. But there's no way I can get away on a live performance. There's no way that I can't do about 12, 14 songs that people just keep asking. And then just like Sunday, I was at Traders Village in Houston, and Telemundo was there, and towards the very end somebody asked for Chiquitita Chiquitita, and I hadn't done that in a while. And
Yes.
so but I mean, you talk te vas a acordar, y las miradas, maldito amor, ámame, bésame. But then por favor, corazón, cumbias, like corazón ardiente. Our public is always asking for that. But I like to think that the last 2 albums have been recorded really well, and that's a testament to was everybody there, Freddie, Mariano, Herrera, Eli Molina, all the crew, and of course Hector Gutierrez producing, mi compadre Jaime, bass player, producing our vocals, and it's just you you have a lot of players involved, and you get everybody on the same page, and I think the last two have been very well recorded, and it's been sending us into a. Juan Trevino is an exceptional writer, and
Yes.
I had seen some of his songs like a couple of years back. He sent me like 11, 12 songs, and I thought they were great, except I couldn't really make them Gary Hobbish.
Mm.
And then I got into trying to finish the album, so I didn't get to record anything from Juan. I don't know if it hurt his feelings or anything, but to get material from him again, it had to go through channels.
Yeah.
And when he sent me the new stuff, that first song Soy Libre, it had every possibility of going Tejano and kind of putting Gary Hobbish on it, and but so I don't think there's a baby. I could say there's a lot of songs that I love to perform and stuff like that. Donde hay fe by Beto Ramon, a lot of songs, pero it's an everyday thing on a stage, whether it's a really big stage and a big audience or small stage and a small event or stuff, but it's the same attack. And so I couldn't say which album. Let's just say the new one. The
So
new one.
do you think it's important for our fans to be open? Like, we face as a challenge. We talk about this on our podcast. Let's Talk to Hano. We talk about the importance of new music, and not even just new artists, but new music from our traditional. The artists that have been in the business for many years. I think we do face a challenge with getting some of our listeners to hear new music by Gary Hobbs, new music by Freddie Martinez, David Lee Garza. Like they're all coming out with new music, but just like what you stated, they're asking you for music from way back, which is fine because that's what we grew up listening to and that's what we love. But I think it's important for our fans to know that there is so much new music, and not just by new artists, but there is a lot of new music. So, can you speak to us on your thoughts about the new music and how we can keep evolving into that so that we can carry Tejano music longer?
Do you have enough time?
I
I have
mean,
a
I'm here for as
I,
long as you
I have a I have
are.
another podcast at 8, but let me tell you, I think you hit it a very good point, Mary. Porque sure, people want to hear Las Miradas and Te Vas a Acordar. Te Vas a Acordar has been recorded by about 4 or 5 bands just the last 4 years, and they practically took everything, the same arrangement, the same riff, and that tells you something that things many years ago were recorded at least a little bit correctly, right? But for me to sing Las Miradas for the 5,783rd time or whatever, it doesn't grow old on me. But I want to do a lot of good new music that I think is good enough for our public to dance. That's the priority for me. My audience has never been really somebody standing there at crowds, and it was always from the ballroom. It was trying to make them dance. So the priority for me is the beat, the music, the arrangement has got to make them want to dance. No, que bailen, que se diviertan. But when you have new music coming out, and we perform that song, and we perform and we keep performing, we see the audience not go and dance. You see, and so then we're hit that we need to continue to promote. And I agree. I'll just blurt it out because I'm that kind of a guy. But I blurt things out, but with a purpose, with a purpose that we go to these clubs. I don't care any club, ahorita, any club. They can all take it the way they want to take it. But every club that we're there during our intermission, or right before, or right when I get off the stage. Oh my God! I mean, they're not playing the new all these artists that you said. I don't want to say the names because I don't want them to feel shited by me. But I'm sure they're not playing my new music either. You see,
Right.
but then all of a sudden they'll play old school from the '90s and a couple. but they're not playing any music now. Now, why are they playing the new genre music today? I mean, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the fronteras and signos and I think all of that is great music, right? But if it's Tejano night and you got a Tejano band like me, keyboard orientated stuff like that, but why aren't you playing these artists? They're they're certified artists,
I
you
can
know.
I can help answer that question, but keep going. I know where you're going with
Uh, no, I know why. You're asking me a question for
it.
your
Yes,
listeners,
yes.
but but all these artists have been putting out new music and new music, and a lot of the radio stations and club friends, they say, "Well, Gary, with that audience, that's what pays the bills," because of the advertising, because of the promotions, and but it's still not fair.
Yeah.
What happened when Las Miradas came out? That was brand new music.
Right,
When Te Vas a Acordar came out, that was brand new music. I
right.
mean, I was with La Miradas, I was already 29 or 30 or something like that. I had already been in music 8 years, so I started like at 22, 23, full time, just doing this. Today's artists, they have to work all week long and get out on the weekends. And there's got to be a way to help these young bands get out there and not just be a bunch of solo artists with no bands. They need more help.
Yes.
Now, if you give me the answer to that one, then I'd appreciate it. But all our musicians, they're all full timers, right? I still do 100 days, blah blah, a year, and people, no way. Well, they're not going to believe. You can ask the David Lees and these other bands from the '90s. In 94, 95, 96, we were doing 200 plus shows a year, and they think, no way, no, yes way.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so today is very important for us to. We've kind of found a little niche there the last 6 8 months where we're doing 3/4 old school, but we're playing some new music, and then our crowd Tejanos, they love country or old school or a disco that's just how they were raised. So you got to play some kind of this and that and that and this, but that's our Tejano crowd. But uh, again, we have our own style, and people still hire us. We're still, I'm a blessed man, and
You're a
but
talented man.
Yes.
I
Very talented.
I agree that radio stations and clubs and festivals or mobile DJ, they should be playing our new music. But they go to Te Vas a Acordar, and they go to La Miras and Maldito Amor, and
But
but
it also goes back to the DJs. Not to interrupt you, and I apologize, but it does go to our DJs. I'm a DJ. I play music on TikTok live stream. I have a live 365, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I could start a live, and I'll know requests I'm gonna get right away. It's up to me to introduce that music, right? The new music to say, okay, you can request that song. I'll play this miradas, but can you hear this song before that? And it's up to us to introduce, but it's also up to the fans to ask and look for new music. Like it can't just be the DJs because I guarantee you, I throw in a new artist, I'm gonna lose a couple of viewers. I'm gonna lose a couple of listeners. And it's nothing that they're not talented. It's just they don't know the music. But how are you going to know the music if you don't listen to it? Like we face a challenge as DJs as well. Because to your point, Gary, I've gone to a club and let's just say you're playing an intermission hits and they throw on a country song. I'm like, wait a minute. I love country, but why aren't you playing some Tejano music? I see your point, but I can say it's because that's what people are going to dance to or whatever.
well, but you know what, Mary? I go back to what I was saying. With these bands, without having these artists, without having a band and doing it grassroots stuff, going to the towns. But now, no, I can't go to that festival for $500. You know, they'll say that, and they're not even known yet. But we went for the free. We went for the five. I think it's just like a. I don't know anything about politics, so I'm not going to get into politics. But if I was running for politics and I want to do everything on stream and TikTok, but I don't go knocking on doors and meeting people. then I'm not gonna really feel the pulse, the heartbeat of people. And I think going out there, when you're starting off, you need a band. You need to get out there. You need to go to those little festivals. They're gonna put me at 3 in the afternoon. Those are- you know, I mean, we all did it. Now it has nothing to do with paying your dues.
Right.
It has nothing to do with paying your dues. No, but it is a process. No, and I think as long as they don't do that and they're not out there, they think that just on views and streams they're gonna hire them. They don't know. They don't know how they really sound live.
Right.
For and then you know what? I'll take it a little bit step further. One thing is being in the studio and putting on headphones and recording, but the other thing is getting out there live and you feel a live audience. That's just a whole different show. I always thought, man, I wish I could have recorded live, that song because, hey, Jorge, now I see you.
Hey, Gary.
and but doing live just brings out the adrenaline compared to being in the studio. But these bands have to be you have to go through the process, and you got to get out there. And well, Gary, it's easier said than done. Well, you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir because look at these Tejano bands and my colleagues. Very few bands, they're all having a high changeover of personnel. Why is that? Well, because priorities change, jobs, money, blah, blah, blah. Getting old, being on the road, getting tired, having to travel 8 hours because everybody thinks we're flying in private jets and we're not. They all think we're staying in a 5, 6 star hotel, and sometimes we do. But the bands have to go out there and not prove themselves, but let people hear you, But when I hear new artists saying, "No, they don't play us. We don't get a chance." Hay mucha envidia. It wasn't anything different when I walked in through full-time doors. Same thing. And even today, we have to go prove it. Man, Gary, viejito, say most shit. Like, dang. Well, I can still go out there and move, and I'm being hired, and my projection is still strong, and I got to go do my job, Mary. I got to do my job, and so I think that a lot of young artists, they just got to buckle down, they rehearse, make something their own. How can I say this? Is the first time I've ever said that. I'm going to say this, but well, we have a podcast, right? Gary Hobbs, the podcast, but it's audio. I didn't want to go video because look, I look really old and I'm really fat, and that's why I didn't want to do video. But
You do not, and you are not.
but no, look, but let me tell you, I've never said this on my. We did 72 episodes of hanging with Gary, and I don't know 15, 16 of. Now we're at Gary Hobbs, the podcast. But I've never said this. I admire so much the young talent. I've been playing. We've been playing on the podcast stuff by new art. Oh my God, Jenny B. A lot of young Savannah. A lot of
There's a
and
lot.
there's a lot of them, but they need to find the form of getting out there. Yes, continue to work. And when I see a male singer, and he's a young singer, so I'm looking at a video and I'm listening to his voice, of course, and I'm looking at the band, but his body language is probably the first thing. The body language. I mean, I get on stage and the first 30 seconds, a minute, I'm nervous. I'm shaking. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? But these young singers, they se ponen la manita. I wish I could show you here, but se ponen la manita like this, like oh my God, that's the Joe Lopez and Emilio, and how many singers do that? And is that a twitch? Is that a no? That's what you call an influence. They were influenced by somebody. Well, they got to find a way of making their own thing. When Selena does her twirls and Selena does a certain, and I see a young female singer, well, of course, they're being what? They're being influenced.
Mm-hmm.
Influenced. And I just said some major words: Selena, Joe Lopez, Emilio. But the ticket is to find and do the homework to do something your own, and music your own, it's not as easy as it sounds. It takes time. But just being on an interview and being on a TikTok, and that's going to get you maybe your face out there. But I don't think a lot of fundamental things aren't being done. I don't want to say they all want to be stars overnight. No, that's not true. I see a lot of them working hard. And I've told some young artists an example. If I'm in marketing, and okay, so Mary and Kelly are going to be the new duet singers. Okay, and you have a band, and you go out there, you go photo session, and Mary's got her hat on, and Kelly's going to wear her hair back. Okay, then the next performance, Mary doesn't have a hat on, and Kelly makes a. So what I'm saying is that your face is not consistent, and if I see you at HEB without your hat, Mary, I'm not gonna notice you. There's so many things that young artists have to think. It's not just about having a great time. The local bands always say that, I don't want to play with Gary because it's too much discipline. It's man, I gotta have fun. Well, having fun doesn't pay the bills, you know. And I got too serious.
No, it's great. We're all learning a lot.
but we're saying about the new artist and the new music, but I going back to our album, that's exactly what we face now. We're being treated like new artists, like with radio stations. Like Gary House has been here 42 years, and if he's got a brand new song, well, it took something like Freddie Records, who do their job very well, for us to get back on radio and start charting, and all of a sudden we have another number one song. So but so much involved in just getting out there with new music.
Yes, yes. We have a lot of new artists listening on and giving you props and totally agreeing on what you're saying, Mr. Gary. Salutes to all the new artists. Guys, take the words of encouragement that just Mr. Gary Hobbs just gave and use it. Like he said, find your identity and you're finding your way. You can be influenced by so many artists out there. You can be influenced by him. And of course, the Selenas, the Emilios, the David Lee Garzas, all of them. But find your own identity and ride with it. That's what he's saying. Like, what, he's done his part, and he's right now still doing his part, but he's getting treated just like you guys are. So in reality, don't always feel, oh, well, they're on top and we're not. They're still trying to find certain ways in certain cities. I know there's a lot of new artists that get played crazy in a different city, but then they come down here to what we call it the border towns. They have no idea who you are. But that's like Mary said, it's our fault as DJs or stuff like that. But show up, call them, go to an event, and just make an appearance. That's all it takes too. So
And that goes, I'm so sorry, that goes for not just Tejano, right? That goes across the board in anything. And because if you don't have, I mean, you have I know you have the desire to play, you have the desire, you want to, but then you got to dedicate time, right? I call it the 3 Ds. You got the desire, tú quieres cantar, but the desire, but then the dedication. You got to put time into it. But then once you make time for it, Ben, where's the discipline? The discipline of doing it and doing it and doing it, and you can only get as good as you want. If you want to get better, you're gonna have to try and rehearse more, or get out there, ask favors from bands. Hey man, can you let me sing a song with you, or local bands? But it all starts in the local roots, man. Very very seldom do you see somebody go from your living room to the big stage somewhere, and but it takes time and the discipline. But that goes across in everything, tropical, norteño, country. They gotta buckle down.
yes, and it's used anywhere, and you make really great points.
And there's so much talent. Oh my God, there's so
Yes,
much young talent out there.
There
It's
is
just
a lot of good talent. And really quickly, jumping in, I do want to give some shout outs if you don't mind, Kelly.
No problem.
We have Anthony Patterson,
Yes.
Aisha's out there, and we have listeners out there in Haines City, Florida. We have Jessica, we have Jesse Morales in Corpus Christi, we have Colorado, we have McKinney, we have Dallas in the house, we have Cypress, Texas, we have David. If I miss anybody, I apologize. I'm trying to go through the chat real quick. You're
We have
getting a
Tiana Huerta, a new
yes.
artist as well.
Let me see who else is in there. Alexis, Norma, going on here.
We like to send everybody our Cash App right now. And
Yes, George Lomas and Clarissa out there in Pecos, Texas. She goes, I'm getting advice from Gary Hobbs. Oh my God.
Yes,
free,
salute to
free
Gringo as
advice.
well.
So, do
Okay,
you
it's funny.
a topic that kind of came up in one of our interviews, and I would love to ask you because of the amount of years you have in the business and the advice. Thank you, Yvette Cruz, Lubbock, Texas, in the house. Um, do you think it's important for artists that already have a following, meaning by just naming that you're going to be there, you for sure know you're going to have some ticket sales, right? Do you think it's important for an artist like yourself to take in a band or another artist that may not have that following yet and say, "Come tour with me" or "Come to this gig"? Do you think that we're in a time that that should be happening, or do you think that it's everyone needs to pay like what you said they have to go through that process?
We did that in the '90s, Murray. We would hire bands. There was this singer Ruth, and we took on several bands back in the '90s. But you asked me today, okay, you try and take a new band, and I just ran across this with a very well known band the other day, and I asked him, and I got 3 dates. I got Austin, and then I have San Antonio, and then I'm gonna have first Friday in December in Dallas. You know what I need to know what would you charge me? Never got back to me. And finally we talked and he said, "Oh man, we've been busy." And okay, but today Tejanos like us to take empadrinar a band, you think, okay, we take a band, they're going to use our equipment, what little equipment we have, or we rent out, okay, and they still want $3,000, $4,000. Ain't happening. It ain't happening. I mean, you'd be surprised that's another advice for the young ones, for the young bands. So that first gig, when you're starting to get a little bit hot and you got a record on the radio and then some fool promoter calls you and he tells you, "Man, I got $3,000 for you." Well, guess what? For the next 30 years to that promoter, you're worth $3,000. You got to be savvy. You got to, when I started learning business, they told me you better have a good accountant, a good banker, you know, and a good manager. And well, I had to become all of that to learn, because it's I mean, let's be honest. The Quintanilla family had Abraham, who had been in music, and they learned together and they grew together. So many bands like that. La Mafia started. They had their older brother Henry, que descanse en paz, but Henry was running business and stuff. And it's kind of hard being the artist and also being the booking agent, and stuff like that. And then you try to take a band to open up for you, and they want several $1,000s, and that's not happening in Tejano. It's
Yes,
not.
yes. And
It it
go
it
ahead.
would be the same. It's the same question. Like everybody's hooked on this really new music and the frontera stuff. And I do like a lot of their stuff. I really do. And I don't know if they consider themselves Tejano or not, but they're not taking Gary Hobbs on no tour. And they can certainly afford it. But you know what? They're taking care of business. So let's not hate on them. Let's not. They're, man, if they get on that Super Bowl show, like I'm hearing, that Bad Bunny's going to be there, man, can you imagine something like that? And the
Well, and they
first
already called their
thing they're going to
music
say,
Tejano music.
yeah, they're not, they weren't Tejanos, something like that, right? But
Right.
oops, it says oops. But but give credit where credit is due. It's that on our podcast, it's like when people send us emails and why is this band not Tejano? Because we said we'll play some new music. We have a segment, today's Tejano, and we always play somebody, a new band and some new music, whether it's a new artist or it's an old veteran, you know. But and then we pass it around the table and Tejano or not Tejano, Tejano, very Tejano. Well, sometimes we'll say it's really great music, but it wasn't Tejano. And then that one comes up. Was where is Tejano? Well, that's Tejano today, Gary. Why? Because he's from Texas, and I go, no. Then that would make me American music because soy americano because I live in America. You know,
Yeah.
why isn't American music playing me? My name's Gary Hobbs, but I'm Tejano. Plus, when they say Gary Hobbs, oh, it's Tejano. Pues I'm identified as Tejano. But some of these new bands, they've created new stuff with the technology, and something else is growing. It can never stay the same. Music has to grow,
It has to
So
evolve.
Definitely.
All,
yeah,
all definitely good points. And I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry jumping in late too, man.
no,
You know,
right.
the boss decided to crack that whip a little bit harder tonight. I don't know why, but he did.
He
But
blames Houston traffic.
yeah, I live in Houston. I live an hour away from Houston, believe it or not. But
Yeah.
all definitely good points. And again, apologies for being late. But I was listening in, eavesdropping on the way home on the Bluetooth, and right when I walked in, y'all started touching on the streaming generation, I guess you call it, right, Gary? The streaming generation. We actually just had a discussion like this last night. It was a mini discussion, but we didn't elaborate on it too much. But it's been brought up that the streaming that's being done now, as opposed to the bands going up on stage and showing their stuff, showing the entertainment, adding, I guess, reading the crowd and adding the mood to the concert is that kind of. There's bands that still doing it, but do you think the streaming is kind of killing that?
No, can you imagine the band that learns how to do both of them?
Exactly.
Nothing. Yeah, because
Yeah, but if it was that easy, everybody'd be doing it, right?
right, exactly.
But you can hear all the support, and where there's a will, there's a way. No, you just gotta. I tell our musicians, just do your job, man. Just do your job, and by that, every day, wherever you work, you got to take care of your job. You got to get ready to go to work. Make sure you get there on time. While you're there, you have to be productive, or else te van a correr.
Yeah.
You know. But no, this is what I do. I just play el güiro. That's what I do. Well, you know what? You can grab your güiro and güiro yourself out of here. But we need people that in business you tell people, you hire people so they can solve your problems, not to give you problems.
Right.
Yes.
They're gonna be giving me problems, but ain't nobody got time for that,
No.
right?
We don't.
Yeah,
we don't
pero-
get paid to
but the
create more problems.
streaming, but Jorge, streaming I think is very important, very important, very important.
Mhm.
Now, are millions and gamillions of viewers going to tune in to see this face? Well, there's an age difference there, but the young bands that take care of that, if they find to do both ways, they got to get out there, Jorge.
Yeah.
They got to get out there, and it's been proven time and time again, and so the bands that start getting out there and performing, it seems like a lot of they mentioned this a lot of time, but let's just say they only get a shot at the Tejano Music Award fanfare, and that's where they get free. Everybody gets to see them for free, but when they come into the area, they need to back it with good music, something on the radio. Now they say they can do videos with your phone. Well, do a good video. There's a lot of things you gotta do, but you gotta get out there. And discipline is, oh my God, discipline. Just look at today's, even us, veteran bands. I mean, we're all competitive, but we're colleagues. Some of us are friends, some of us are better friends, some of us, we just respect each other. But we all got to do what we got to do, and put out new music, and the discipline of even wardrobe. Wardrobe is something that now I see other colleagues dressing a certain way, and I don't go wearing white tennis shoes, right? But and there's nothing wrong against tennis shoes, but I remember I got bashed because I don't allow our band members to wear tennis shoes, and I go, but it's so easy, just go make your own band and wear white tennis, right?
You could be the white tennis shoes
Yeah.
band.
No, and there's nothing wrong with tennis shoes, but again, I
That's
said that
you.
many times. If you get hired by David Ligarzo Los Musicales, you may guest spot or guest musician for a weekend because somebody was sick or somebody is off. But those guys are, they're like clockwork. But you're gonna wear the jeans and you're gonna wear the shirts and if you don't like it, but there's a door. There's a famous story about that, but I won't say that. But it's the same thing with us. I mean, we have a certain look. We're not dressed like ex bands, or we don't look like we came from the cumbia kings or stuff like that. That's their thing. And I used to love cumbia kings, so please don't misinterpret that. But you come work for us, and the discipline is got to be there. So there's too many things in telling how to be successful. There's a long list, but you gotta hit on it a little by little, and be patient, porque you want to be a star now because you have a voice, and writing things on social media, negative things, and not all bands they're not supporting, and be positive, man. I mean, you're declaring words that are negative, and you want to go vent on. We've been through so many things throughout our career, and we don't go vent on social media. Social media should be something to. So I don't carry a conversation a lot of times on social media, but I want everybody to know, where we're at, what we're doing. We just recorded things, and that's what these bands need to do. They need to continue to remember one thing, that you know it's a business. It's a business. I'm in the business strictly to get paid, but I get to go do a job that I still love to do. Well, at least the stage part. I still love being on stage. After I get nervous, and then I do my job, but then on the way home and to the next town, and I gotta wait a few hours before I can actually get into the other hotel because it's 3 p.m. check-in. So many things. But some artists today, some musicians are like, and they want to ride in first class, and are we gonna have a room today? And oh my God, they want me to buy equipment too. You know, it's like there's so many things entailing to be successful, and there's not one check off. It's a bunch of stuff, and but if you ain't got talent, you know, even then you can continue to try and get better and better. I'm living proof of that. I continue to criticize myself, and I got to get better, and ain't nobody gonna criticize me more than me. But when I got to learn how to get better and better and better, and I've always tried new stuff. They say, Gary Hobbs is Tejano. No, you haven't studied our music since 1983. We've done English, and we've done country, and we've done vallenato. Okay, so I tried rap once, and it didn't go very
Hey,
well.
you can't say you didn't know until you tried.
Hollywood, Hollywood, llego. Escucha este mensaje que te voy a decir. No, never. I don't even rap tamales. But there's a lot of things, Jorge. The streaming is very, very important. Very
Yes.
important now. It has to be done to succeed today. The young bands and veteran bands, we need to keep streaming on social media and promoting, but veterans like us, because we already have a career in place, so we're not going to be performing for streaming. Netflix ain't going to pay me $1 million to get on
They
Netflix,
should.
right? But we're still, well, they should, but but again, streaming is very,
That's
very
that's an
important.
interesting point of view because social media is a vessel. I mean, everybody uses it. We all use it for obviously for what we're doing here now. You know,
Yes.
obviously social media took off with it took off with a a monkey blowing up a balloon. All of a sudden, it got a million views. So anything is possible. And I guess me personally, I mean, I've never been in the music business. I've only been a fan. I've never been a DJ. I've only been a fan. So my perspective is a little bit different when I see the way things are now. I'm like, man, I think back, man, Gary Hobbs used to do this. Like, Gary Hobbs used to play Hullabaloos in Houston and all this and that. I used to see a good show, and now I see a good show, but the majority of the time when I see it, obviously I can't be in every town, but I see it here, you know. And I mean, we encourage bands to do the same thing too. We tell them, hey, y'all put the music out. We're going to share the heck out of it, We're
Mhm.
going to share. We're going to like it. We're gonna get it out there too. It's a different generation, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the bad part is that sometimes people are trying to help you because they're trying to load up stuff, but it sounds
Mhm.
like crap because it's going in wrong through their. And so instead of helping you, people are perceiving what they hear, what they see. Oh man, Gary House sounded like
It was
crap,
their phone. It was that Apple
Yeah.
phone.
Oh wow, wow.
No, and then you see the shows. You see the shows when somebody is taping you or the management and there's not a lot of people. They never go to the people. They stay on the stage, right? But but that has a twofold. That has a twofold. Sometimes there's a nice crowd and they're just keeping it on this side of the stage, stuff like that. So you see how people can perceive both, you know but and then if it's coming out nice and you had a really great system and it's sounding tough, man, great. I'm gonna tell you a little story. Saturday, uh, we have some Tejano cruisers. My wife and I do cruises, but we have cruisers that we met, Roberto and Connie Romo, and dear friends. Mr. Romo turned 75, right? And so Saturday, a couple of months ago, Mrs. Romo calls me and says, "Well, Mijo, I'd like to do something for Roberto, but it's supposed to be a surprise." And I go, "There's no way you're gonna keep it a surprise from Mr. Romo. He's in administration at Walmart. He's on top of everything." And Lord and behold, how she did it. So she got Mr. Romo to book a band for the party. So he booked a local band and minimum equipment, just and they sounded really great. They did a bunch of oldies, 60s, 70s, and Motown and stuff like that. Okay, but then we get there and we don't have monitors, we don't have a system. There's two little speakers on each side. There's no lights, you know. And so the surprise was on us because we didn't have equipment there, and they're supposed to provide it. But we had to call somebody. Leo from Tentacion, he came and put some stuff for us, and we had to go through a sound check. We had to, again, whoever was taping that night and sees Gary House with no lights and maybe it's not sounding and it's so the perception is now, man, Gary House playing like at a backyard somewhere, and there's nothing wrong with working at a backyard unless it's my relative or unless I'm getting paid, right? And so, but you see how streaming can be perceived either way, Jorge.
Mhm.
Either way. If it's not sounding good on the phone, was they think they're doing you a favor, but maybe the sound isn't transmitting well. So, but nevertheless,
No,
streaming is so
absolutely, and I
important.
totally agree with that. And then on that note too, I guess first impressions are everything. What if somebody's first introduction to a band is like
Through
you
your
said
iPhone.
on the phone, But
Big saludos to Chris Rivera from Tex Maniac. Saludos. And also from Lubbock, Texas, Aisha. We do have two questions, Kelly, if you don't mind, from the comments from Mr. Anthony Patterson. Do you think labeling music is important for an artist to grow?
Look, back in the 70s, when I was a teenager, I listened to radio, and it was called pop music. There was radio stations that was playing nothing but country, and I'm talking about the George Jones style of country back then, because that was country, ¿verdad? Hank Williams, stuff like that. But you had pop stations, and man, you could hear. I'm a big Earth, Wind, and Fire and Chicago fan, but you could hear them, and you could hear Freddie Fender at the same station. Nada que ver. nada que ver, right? And then you could a rock band, whoever. So see how those different genres. It was called pop music. Should we go to that format today? No, I think business people, stock exchange, but people they want to divide that. They because it's sort of like it being at a Tejano Music Awards or somewhere, and there's only three top finals. Well, why aren't they five?
Yeah.
You know, you know. There are five now, but it used to be three. And in the same token, another award show. If we give more visibility, is one thing. But what Jorge is saying, or the question, I'm sorry, the question: should we label it? You're gonna get the same fight. You're gonna get the same fight that some radio station because es compadres de Gary Hobbs son mexicanos and they play my news. Oh, pero Gary Hobbs no es mexicano, Pero Gary Hobbs recorded a cumbia, Y Gary Hobbs habla muy bien el español. Pero, and it's the same thing with Tejano. Now they're playing Tejano, radio stations, and when they put fronteras, the perfect example, right? Is frontera Tejano, man, and people are scared to answer that because they think they're going to get canceled and they're going to get, But I know one thing they say with Gary Hobbs. Ah, pues está viejo, man. He's Tejano. Pues yes, Well, they labeled me Tejano. I can play some country and some cumbias, but it's a style. It's not that I'm from Eagle Pass, Texas. It's that it's a style of music. The beats, a certain beat. If it's going too fast and you can't dance it, is it still Tejano? There's some accordion players that play, but it's a show. They're being entertainers, and our people are dance people, But labeling them, man, I honestly don't think the way things have been going, I don't think it should be labeled anymore. I think the word Tejano is going to be obsolete within the next couple of years.
It's like what they say, norteño light or conjunto and all that. That's what's happening. They're all like, oh, pues they don't belong in this, but they.
Well, but don't you think that's the dumbest crap? Like, so what is Tejano Light? I'm just asking.
I
What
wish it
is
was a
Tejano
beer.
Light? If there's a Norteño
Yeah,
Light, there's a Miller Light, there's a Bud Light, but what is Tejano
right.
Light? I think people should. This is my biggest grab is that uh, it sort of made it look like Mexico was coming back for the Alamo again. They want back the Alamo because if we have enough good music that gets played in Monterrey, and Monterrey is huge. If you look at Tejano artists on Spotify, the analytics, you would be surprised. Like 55,000 listeners a month just from that area on our music, right? Okay, so if it's big over there and they play us over there, why do Mexican stations here, not play our music? Well, because they're catering to what? La gente que vino de Mexico para acá. There's nothing wrong with that. The owners are going to control what they play, But why don't they play Tejano, music, right? So that's my biggest beef that, La Radio Mexicana will not play our songs. But Tejanos will play their songs. Like, okay, but that's one of my biggest beef that we have artists, veteran artists, young artists. Again, I just said Jenny B, and I said Savannah, and there's other young ladies. I don't see too many. There's some up and coming young male artists, that I've seen, and I'm sorry, I don't keep up with them very much, but they do have a lot of talent. They just got to keep grinding it. But I hope some of them are able to break that barrier y que los toque las estaciones mexicanas,
Yes, we do need that, and I think that's where we get lost in the Tejano, in the industries of radio, that they won't give us the opportunity. We're so easy, in the Tejano industry, like ourselves, I know we play Frontera, Secreto, Parranda. We're so easy to give them the opportunities, but when it comes to them, they won't give our Tejanos the ability to even play their music. And it's wrong because we open doors really easily, but they won't do that for us. And it's sad.
Well, the Tejano audience, as a support system, their age, we're all getting older, right? And so, it is diminishing. The clubs are not, the festivals are all right, and some Jamaicas and stuff like that. But to put two, three bands of our caliber, veterans, and tell them that we're going to go to the AT&T Stadium,
Yeah,
saying it ain't
it's
happening. You know, the audience is not there, but the young crowds have an opportunity, the young bands have an opportunity to grow and do something about that. But unless they go and grind it out, si no van a jalar a trabajar, no a chulear nomás, sometimes you get caught up in your own hype, and that happens to me. It's like, all of a sudden, I'll tell you a little story, but in the 90s, I could be in a break in Lubbock or somewhere, and we were selling Polaroids, right? You know, and we'd sell them at $5 a pop or something, and I'd walk out with $600 just from that
mm-hmm.
hour. So then the phones came out, sales, and they really destroyed my photo business, right? Now everybody has them on their cameras, and now everybody wants to take your picture, and two, three, because they don't know how to. And there you are, like 3 minutes with somebody, because you need to get somebody who knows how to do the cameras. The point I'm trying to make is that you have at a festival, and you see a line of 100 people waiting to take pictures with you. That should get you going. Take care of your job, Gary. The discipline, and so, but we get up caught in our hype. We think we can do anything on stage and play. No, people want to hear music that you recorded. People want to hear the way you recorded it. Let me give you an example. If I sing For Ages, I sing Las miradas que te doy no más son para ti, será porque te quiero. If I go on stage and I go, las miradas que te doy no más son para ti, será porque te quiero. But that's not the way I record it, right? And we get caught up in our own hype. We got to continue to be disciplined. But so many things, so many things. But these young bands, they need to
You
continue
just
to,
encouraged me not to do any more
uh,
karaoke, Gary. Thank you, Gary.
I want
no,
to
no,
be
no,
his
no,
backup
no.
singer,
It's like,
so here we are.
no, it's like I did. We were doing a tribute for Jimmy Gonzalez a couple of years back, and I had to learn two songs from Jimmy Gonzalez, and I tried to learn it, and I learned it as best as I could to mimic the melody, because that's a tribute. That's what a tribute is. Now, if you're gonna sing it your own way, then good luck, because those are, if you're singing a song that's already a hit song, ¿verdad? But but again, if you're gonna do a tribute, then play it like that. Pero no. I got off the subject.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good. You're
You know,
I
good.
no
I
worries.
think I think you're giving out really great information, not only for up and coming bands and artists, and giving that animal, and knowing it is a tough battle. But I think we're also educating our fans, which is really important, because I think our fans need to know what it is like and
Yes,
what Gary feels is important. Yes, he loves singing, the original music, but we have new music, and it's okay to listen to it, and it's okay to hear and accept that. And I think it's very vital, and I'm so glad that we have so many people in here. I would love to do some shout outs in a little bit, so if y'all can just comment where you're watching from, so we can
yes,
give you all some shout outs. But I think it's really important as fans of music. I'm a DJ, but I'm also a fan of the music, of course. For us to know that we are just as important as an artist, as the DJs and the fans. It's equal. If there is no fans to listen to music, then an artist doesn't have anything to play for, to write music for, to perform for. So we have to be at the venues. We have to go stream their music. We have to buy their music. We have to request their music. DJs have to be able to um, be open to listening to new music and presenting new music to the art to their fans. It's a very, we all have to work together in this industry. If you love the Hano music the way you say you love it, then you have to support it. And these are the ways you can do that. And it's for everybody, even other bands and other artists, to support each other and give each other animo. Gary Hobbs could sit here and not give any of this information out and be like, learn for yourself. I'm not here for that. I am here for me. But he's absolutely not. He's a veteran of the music, and he is sharing the importance and all the ins and outs, and so that the other artists can see it, but the fans can hear. It is a tough road. He sees
Yes.
what you're doing. He sees you dancing. He sees you buying the music. He sees what requests are being made. He sees what the DJs are doing, right? So we all work together, and that's the best part of the music, right? It brings us all together. So I just think it's just really vital that you all are here and that you guys are listening to this, because this is what it's all about. This is what these podcasts and these interviews and these talk shows are about. What Gary does on his show, what we do on our show, what Kelly does on her show, and what Gary does on stage. It all comes together, and I hope you all are seeing that circle and how we're all connected and we're all just as important to each other.
Yes, definitely. And Ms. Mary, you also, what you said, it's right on, because I mean, doing this and learning the obstacles and hearing Mr. Gary putting out what he's putting. Mr. Gary, actually, you did a song with my best friend, Kari Karina. So I saw the troubles that
Shout out, Kari.
Yes, saludos to my best friend Kari Karina. I know she was in the chat. Her doing what she was doing and trying to get noticed, it's hard. It's hard, and you giving the pointers that you did. I know she can probably reach out to you. You can give her all the guidance and stuff like that. But just hearing what you said, I'm pretty sure she's taken some stuff, and you being in the industry, and you've done so much, and I know she has a friendship with you, and you have it with the family. I think that's something that she will learn on, and any of the artists that if you are listening to right now, and what he said, we've had Mr. Gary give great pointers, and we also had Miss Shelly Lattes a while back also talk about what you stuff that you said, and having Shelly Lattes and yourself being what we call legends in the Tejano industry, giving the knowledge of what the Tejanos, what you guys had to go through, it's a learning process for our new artists, because they can grasp on what you're saying to help them to keep the Tejano industry still there, and help it grow, because that's the only way it's going to keep growing, if we can take what you guys give us and let it grow and make it our own kind of in our generation, but take what you guys had gone through. And I appreciate everything you said. And like I said, Kari, I know you're listening. Come,
Yeah,
amiga.
big shout out. Ukari already had a #1 song without us, so she's doing great. So and
Yes,
it was song written by Johnny Davila too. So
yes, yes.
I saw a little comment right now. Chris Rivera,
Yes,
Chris
Christy.
Rivera, is that drummer Chris Rivera?
Yes, that is Chris
Do you have
Rivera.
any pointers for me? Yeah, Chris, you need to lay off the Dr. Pepper, brother. That's what you need to do.
That's
Yeah,
some real advice, Chris.
that guy's Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
hey Gary, ask Chris if
Caffeine,
he's gonna
brother.
invite you to his what is it, his event?
We created a fake event called the Tuna Festival, and he is the sole artist that's going to be performing at the Tuna Fest.
Where do I buy tickets, man?
I'll give you my cash app, okay?
Hey, Chris is an excellent drummer.
Yeah,
Excellent.
he
Oh,
is.
he and
He
singer.
is.
He's so
Oh
talented.
yeah, yeah. And
Great
he
singer,
sings
great
out.
drummer,
Oh my
great
god,
human being, man. He's a real good friend of ours.
Yeah, he
very
is.
good friend of the
He's,
shows. Yes.
yes, guys. And if you guys ever want to hear Mr. Gary, he does have a podcast himself. They usually record and they put it out there on YouTube. You can find it anywhere. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Audible. You guys go follow him. I listen to them. I know
thank you.
the back man on it. I mean, a good friend of mine, Johnny Davila, helps Mr. Gary on it, and I like the segments they give out, the putting out the new artists, and just getting you to stay on top of the game of what the Hano music is being put out there. They're doing a really good job, Mr. Gary. You're doing a really good job. I know I will listen to
Thank
you with your other podcasts as well, and you guys doing this. You guys have grown a lot from what you did before, and I just love it. Yeah, I mean, I
thank you so much.
listen to it. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Go listen to it. Subscribe it. It'll tell you when they're on, and you know, I'm telling you, it's a really, really good segment. If you guys don't know, Mr. Gary Hobbs is really funny. He really is.
Oh,
So
he's
go
already
listen
got us
to
rolling over here.
Funny looking.
No, absolutely not.
yes,
Chris did ask if you could open for him.
Yeah. Uh, a cat. Open up a can of Campbell soup or what?
Dr. Pepper.
That's probably what they're gonna be serving at the festival.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yes, Kelly, Mr. Gary Hobbs is doing phenomenal work within the music as well as still performing and still making new music to all our fans. New music, new
Yes,
music. So he is a big part of the Tejano genre out there. I'm gonna give some shout outs. We have Colorado, Terry out there tuned in, Clarissa and Pecos, Carmen Esparza, Gotti is out there. Let me
keep the
see.
pads in the house.
Yes. Jonathan Ibarra, Jessica. Jessica asked if you ever go to Haines City, Florida.
Haines City, Florida.
Yeah.
Man, I could tell you that I've been to Belle Glade, Homestead, Immokalee, Wachula, Palm Springs. I've been to Bradenton. I've never heard of. I don't remember ever performing in Haines City though.
Saludos going out to Greg Martinez. He said you always jam out at Levitt Pavilion in Arlington. Saludos to everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much. John is out there on YouTube. Danny and Noyola from Corpus Christi. A couple more shout outs here. Let's see
Yanni
here.
Noyola.
Holland, Michigan. Saludos to Holland, Michigan.
Miss
And
Norma, Mr. George Salazar out there. Saludos.
Ophelia and Leslie, Terry, thank you guys so much for helping us out here with the comments, and a big saludos to everybody that is tuned in on Live 365, the app where we play music 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Carino Perez, saludos.
Yes,
Linda,
I'm gonna put.
You know,
Sorry, Miss Mary, to cut you off, but
no, you're
I'm
fine.
gonna let some of the people that are listening on. Y'all go check out Mr. Gary Hobbs. He has a busy weekend. I mean, if you guys don't think he's working every day. So this weekend, I know Mr. Gary has something going on out there. He's going to be playing at the Cotton Fest in Robstown. He'll be at Rodeo Event Center. Actually, that's on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. You'll be at Rodeo Event Center in San Antonio. Y'all go make it out there. The Leon Tentacion will be the opening act. Also you'll be in
Edinburgh on Saturday.
Yes,
Edinburgh at a Citrus Live in the
Yes,
Valley on Saturday. I got
yes.
radio tomorrow. I got podcasts. Oh my God, I'm a blessed guy. As y'all can see, I can't put any filters on these things because I got a lot
I
of
need
a
it. I
lot.
need it.
I got a lot of people say he's had too many plastic surgeries, and I go, no, lady, it's called showbiz and it's called filters.
I'll tell
But
you
as
this.
you can see, I'm 65 years old. It ain't no big secret. I've been doing music 42 years, but nonstop. This is all I've done. But I did want to say a big shout out to Mike Shot It, Mike Salgado, who did the video for us for Soy Libre. We shot in San Antonio, we shot in Las Vegas, and he did a excellent job. It's the first time that we worked with him, and looking forward to the next video. But Mike Shot It, of course, Mike Salgado Jr., and he did the video for Soy Libre on Freddie Records. But big shout out to Mike.
It came out really good. Y'all go listen to it. It's one of the latest songs. So leave it. Go check it out. It's on all the platforms. Again, guys, I know we have to cut you short, Mr. Gary. I know you have something coming up right after us. So again, thank you so much for being here with Sirius Tejano. We're a big supporter here for our local musicians. You're not that far from us. You're just 45 minutes away. But, I love that you're always so, como se dice, you honor your hometown very well. And I love that about you because not a lot of artists do that. So, props to that. Again, thank you so much for being here, Ms. Mary and Mr. George. Any last words for Mr. Gary?
I definitely want to thank you for your time with us, and I learned a lot. I hope our fans and everybody that tuned in. First, thank you for tuning in and letting Let's Talk Tejano join forces with Kelly D show. But I want to thank Mr. Gary Hobbs for teaching me some things. I really have a ton more questions for you. So when you're ready for me to be on your podcast, just put me in, Coach. I'm just kidding. We'll definitely have to do another segment with you. I have a ton more questions I would like to ask you and pick your brain about as a newer DJ and as a podcaster myself. So thank you so much for your time this
Thank
evening.
you.
We appreciate you, and we appreciate your music and everything you do for the Tejano genre.
You.
No, absolutely, Gary. And again, apologies for my lateness. But
Yeah.
Just
I,
tell me
me,
you
I
passed
like
out
I
the
like
next
I
thing
like
you
making
do.
dramatic entrances. So that's just me. Pero
You too.
there you go, man. No, I appreciate the time, Gary, man. Really do. And you dropped a lot of knowledge on just not us, like they said earlier, but on the artists that were down here in the comments who are our guests. You're welcome back anytime, and hopefully we'll get to catch up again in the future. And longtime fan, Gary. I've been looking forward to this interview, man. Really have, and I do
Appreciate it,
appreciate it a lot,
brother.
man.
Want to remind everybody that our new album Soy Libre, Freddie Records. You can visit YouTube, Freddie Records TV. Soy Libre, brand new video single, has been doing very well. So much music on that new album that we kind of tweaked it here, tweaked it there, and we did a cover or two. But I had a lot of fun doing it, and the guys recording it and being in the studio. And I hope you enjoyed. The name of the album is Soy Libre. It's on Freddie Records again, and you can see it on Freddie Records TV on YouTube.
Yes, yes. Again, guys, thank you so much for being here this Wednesday. I'm pretty sure this won't be the last time we'll see Mr. Gary. Hopefully, the next time we'll do it, I'm gonna make sure Mr. Johnny and we could do it live in your studio. So we'll try to get that going. And again, Mr. Gary, muchas gracias. Thank you so
We'll
much.
do a we'll do a segment next time called "Tell Us How You Really Feel, Gary."
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Hey, man, I'll bring the popcorn.
Right?
He'll bring the Miller Lite, and we'll be ready
I'll
for
bring
the
the
real.
Miller Lite and the butter popcorn.
There
Yes,
you go. Thank y'all for having me. God bless
yes,
y'all.
All right,
yes.
thank you,
God
Gary.
bless everybody that's on. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful Wednesday. And always love each other, guys. Love each other. You never know when your time's up. And always, always care for your family and loved ones. Again, have a good night. Thank you. We'll see you again next week.
Be safe.